Hi guys, it's Ankita. Welcome to another video. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I talk about books here, review them, recommend them. If that's something that you are looking for, consider subscribing to my channel. In this video, I am neither reviewing nor recommending a book, but I am going to talk about All Creatures Great and Small, specifically the first 12 chapters. This is part of the spring read along. If you're not aware of the spring read along, I am reading All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot, and this read along is going to end on May 19th, if I'm not wrong. So if you want to join along on the read along, check out the schedule, which I'll put in the description down below. Anyway, the plan was to read the first 12 chapter by April 14th. If you haven't read these chapters yet, you'll find spoilers in this video, so you might want to hold off on watching this video until you have read those 12 chapters. Anyway, let's jump into the video. All right, so far I have enjoyed this book. I did not expect it to be as funny and entertaining as it is turning out to be. There are so many comic moments in this. Let's start with the first chapter. In the first chapter, we have James Herriot. He has been called to deliver a calf, and poor guy, he spends 2 hours or more to deliver the calf. He successfully delivers it, and he has this farmer who is constantly doubting his skills because James Herriot is new in the area, and his practice is really new, and he has some big shoes to fill. But he successfully delivers the calf, and when this farmer is like, "How about a drink?" and James is so overwhelmed. He's like, yeah, a drink would be good. And then he's like, no, I meant a drink for the cow. Poor guy. We're James Herriot. But throughout these 12 chapters, we see how difficult it is for a new I cannot say the term with veterinarian. I have a lot of trouble saying that term, so I'm just gonna say vet. Okay, so it's quite evident that it is very difficult for a new vet to kind of establish himself. There's a lot of doubt amongst the farmers. It reminded me of Lydgate in Middlemarch, how Lydgate is an outsider, and he has just started his practice and nobody really trusts him. They still rely on the other physicians. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of Lydgate. Anyway, if you have not read Middlemarch, the idea is the same, that the outsiders are not immediately trusted. It takes some time for them to establish their practice. The second chapter starts out in 1937, and that's when James Herriot arrives in Darrowby, where he has been offered a position of an assistant. The whole scene with the 5 dogs was absolutely delightful. I'm a dog person, so I absolutely found that so funny, and I could just picture the excitement of the dogs, these small, what was it, Yorkie, that was jumping up and just trying to get a glance of who was at the door. In the third chapter, we have Harriet goes to treat a horse who has an infection in his hoof, in one of the hoofs. Harriet is trying to treat this horse. The horse puts all of his weight on Harriet, and Harriet's kind of trying to get off the weight without really showing he is trying to do that, because he's new and he wants to make an impression on his potential employer, and he also doesn't want to upset this farmer. That was really funny. In the end, he also treats a cow and ends up being kicked several times, and once in his tummy, and this amuses the farmer to no end, which was many entertaining moments here at the expense of poor James Herriot. After that visit, Siegfried Vernon offers James Herriot the job, and he offers to pay him £4 a week, right? £4 a week. And I was like, oh my goodness, £4 a week in 1937. from what we get from James Herriot, that was quite a generous amount, and wasn't bad at all. And he gets free boarding, I guess. Right, chapter 5. Sorry, Siegfried Vernon is away, and Harriet attends a call by himself, and he comes across a horse which has torsion. I guess that means twisted intestines, and the only solution to that is to put the horse to sleep. And the caretaker is not happy, and he feels, oh, if it was Siegfried Vernon who was attending to the horse, he would have never done that. I'm pretty happy that in the next chapter we see that Vernon backs up James Herriot. I thought that was really, really good. And they do the postmortem, and it turns out indeed the the horse had torsion. I guess torsion, I'm saying that right? Yeah, I'm finding out about a lot of these conditions that the farm animals have. Miserable conditions, and these vets have to tend to these animals, and it's not an easy job. No wonder it must be emotionally taxing. Then we see Siegfried Vernon's brother Tristan arrives, and what a character, this guy. The way he lies about passing what was that, toxicology, or was it parasitology? Seems like he has people skills, but he's just lazy and doesn't want to do any work. It was really funny. I think it was in chapter 12 when he was actually moving stuff from one room to the other using a bicycle instead of just using his legs. Yeah, in chapter 7 we see Harriet reflect on his life in the Dales, and how the farmers and the clients are not really too excited or thrilled to see him. They expect Siegfried Vernon to attend to their animals, but nonetheless, they are hospitable, and that is something that is in their nature. And then Harriet visits the Copfields Galloway cattle to conduct the TB test. After being kicked and shoved by the cattle, he still compares his life in the city versus his life in the Dales, and he prefers the life in Yorkshire Dales more than he did in the city. We are never really told which city he is from, right? But from the back of the book, it says he's fresh out of Glasgow Veterinary College, so possibly he was in Glasgow. So yeah, a city life, and now he is in the Dales. So despite all the difficulties in the Dales, he still prefers the life there. And there are some beautiful description about the Dales. Yeah, bees were at work among the flowers, and the song of blackbirds and thrushes competed with the cawing of the rooks high up in the elms. Life was full for me. Chapter 8 was perhaps one of the most relatable. I'm pretty sure you must have come across a person who has given you contradictory info or advice. People will give you advice, but they themselves never follow it. I especially loved the one where he goes to Seaton's house, right? Mr. Seaton's place instead of Heaton's. And yeah, there's a mix-up of Seaton and Heaton's, and he ends up there, and he ends up scaring the poor women and children there, which was, yeah. It's oh goodness. And then the incident with the car where he replaces something in the engine, and it's like a new engine, so you must not drive more than 40 miles per hour, I guess. And then he himself ends up driving 60 miles an hour. Oh, I love in chapter 9 how Harriet plays a trick on Tristan. The entire incident where he is treating the cow is just it's traumatizing. I don't know how these vets are able to do their jobs. Must not be an easy job. Oh yeah, chapter 10, that whole scene where Bellerbees are having a meal, it just kind of put into perspective how we eat today. Bellerbees, they have one course, and then the second course, and then the third course. And when James Herriot thinks that they are done finally, there's tea, the first tea and the second tea. And how good it would be to go back to times when we had so much time to enjoy our meals. and not worry about being somewhere. But well, they were in the end disappointed that they were late for the church service, but they, despite of taking so much time to have their meals, they blame poor James Herriot for being late. I thought that was just very human, Much more easier to put the blame on others than reflect on yourself. It's always easier to do that, isn't it? It's very human. Chapter 11, when Harriet attends to that old dog who lives with the old man who has lost his wife a year ago. That entire chapter was so heartbreaking. Old man still is like, doesn't let Harriet leave empty-handed, and he offers him a cigar. I thought that was a really kind gesture, and to be able to do that when the old man has just lost his dog, and well, his only companion is really, it just tugs at your heart. It was very humbling. Chapter 12, Tristan's back. Tristan has been now, we're back to where Siegfried appoints Tristan. Oh yeah, Siegfried delegates bookkeeping to Tristan, and at first it seems like Tristan's doing really well. He has this people skills and he does a really good job of collection, but he loses the receipt book, and yeah, everything goes south from there, doesn't it? Yeah, so far this has been such a great read. Yeah, I must say I'm really enjoying the struggles of this wet in Yorkshire Dales. I think he was a really skilled writer, and his perspective of these experiences that he has seem really pure. They're purely human, and that's what I really like about I have been liking about this. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read the first 12 chapters, or even if you have read the entire book. Let me know about it. I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I'll see you next time when I will talk about chapter 13 through 26, I believe. Well, the schedule is in the description down below, so if I'm wrong, please check the schedule, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.